This lesson is going to focus on how you can use the color swatches, color guide, and color panel in Illustrator, and how you can get creative with color and work across the Adobe suite. So to get started, I want to show you how to access your swatch libraries, which is a really powerful tool to create color and to create color combinations. We're going to begin in our swatches panel, and to access the different color libraries you use the flyout menu, open swatch library. I'm just going to open this first one, and so there's a whole series of art history libraries, which is some of my favorite. To load the next library, you just click through and you can see the wide variety of libraries. I'll go back to the flyout and you can see there's tons of options for your swatches. I do want to point out the color books. So if you're using a specific Pantone color, or if a client references a specific Pantone color, you can find those in here. And the real advantage of using Pantone colors is you can use their swatches, see what those would look like on a high gloss paper, and not be fooled by, well, this is how it looked on the screen and it didn't look like that in print. You know that if this is the swatch you're looking at, it might look different on your screen, but it will print the way you expect it to. So that's just bringing up our color libraries. You can also load other libraries. So if you go to that open swatch, other library, and I have some on my desktop that I'm going to open for us. And these are the KU colors. So clients can have certain colors that they give to you, and you can open them up. So these are the KU print color palettes. You can also save out colors. So you can select your colors and save that as a swatch library. And we'll just put that on the desktop. And so that was the 5-color guide right here that I just printed out or just saved out. And you could then email that file to someone to open up down the road. So that's how you work with your color libraries, importing new ones and opening existing ones. Let's take a look at the color guide right now. And we're going to start with selecting this swatch. So I've just got some swatches here. I actually took a picture of something and then used my Adobe Cooler app to import these swatch colors. So my color guide, if I select this swatch for my harmony rules, I will start to have a set of rules that I can look at, different color combinations. Some of these terms should be familiar to you, so complementary, analogous, meaning they're next to each other in the color wheel, complementary, so they're across from each other in the color wheel, tetrads, high contrast, and you can change if you want to show tints and shades, warm and cool, vivid and muted. So you have even options within those. One of the things I like to do is really use this as a way to start looking at different color combinations I'd use. So let's say I want to take this tetrad. And so I'm going to use this for my next line of colors. And so this kind of becomes like a diagram for my color thought process. So now I'm going to take this green one, and let's say I want the base color to be set to that green. And this time I want to look at some vivid and muted colors. And I'm going to drop down, and let's say this time I'm really interested in looking at analogous colors. So I can select those, do kind of my next color set. And this is often how I look at my colors and start picking and choosing them. This was my starting inspiration. I kind of start moving in different directions. It definitely gives you a different look at colors, gives you some new things to start looking at, and it's a very interactive, cool tool. You can get lost in that color guide pretty easily. Let's jump over to our color panel and look at some of the options you have here. One of the things that often befuddles new students in Illustrator is how this might look different as you work in different projects. And that's because you have the option to hide all the options on this, so you might just see this much. So you can show your options. You also have different views here. So if you're working on a web safe or a web view, you would have an RGB view versus a CMYK. You can pick invert, you can pick complement. This is another good way to pick some colors based on some harmony rules. You can also create a new swatch from here. This would be your fill swatch. So you create a new swatch. We're going to call this our lavender. And that's now over on our swatches panel. So just this flyout menu provides a lot of options with you for views. Same with your swatches panel. The first thing I wanted to show you is you can do a list view or a color chip view. Flyout menu, you can create a new swatch. So let's just blend this up. And we're going to call this bubblegum. And there's our new bubblegum color we just created. You can create a grouping of colors. So we could select those two together. And we're going to do a new color group. And we're going to call this, say we're going to do a party theme. And so I know those colors are grouped together. That color group can also, again, be exported as a swatch library ASE. By the way, those ASE files can be moved from program to program, so you can move those into Photoshop, into InDesign. They move across the Adobe suite. We can delete a color group, ungroup it, so undo what we just did with that. Select unused if you kind of want to clean up your color panel. You can select your unused and actually delete them. You can change your thumbnails to make those color chips a little bit larger. There's all kinds of options for what you can do with that swatches panel.